You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Philip Kaufman, filling in for Julia Wiegand. Schuylkill County authorities have released the identity of a man killed in a Monday morning crash in Yatesville. Police say that 59-year-old Anthony Campanicki of Ringtown was driving his Chevy Blazer along Route 54 around 11:30 in the morning when the vehicle went off the road and struck an embankment. Campanicki was ejected from the vehicle and pronounced dead at the scene by the Schuylkill County Deputy Coroner. Police continue to investigate that fatal accident in Schuylkill County. A 6-year-old boy was taken into child protective custody after he was found to be living in deplorable conditions inside of a Wilkes-Barre apartment. Police responded to a domestic dispute at the Sherman Hills apartment complex last Saturday. 35-year-old Kelly Collins claimed that she was having an argument with 38-year-old Michael Anthony Ocasio. Police said that both appeared to be under the influence, and when officers entered the apartment, they found suspected heroin, fentanyl, and drug paraphernalia throughout. Police also found piles of soiled clothes, dirty dishes, and rotting food. The 6-year-old told police that he had not eaten in a while and was taken into protective custody. Meanwhile, Collins and Ocasio were charged with numerous drug offenses and endangering the welfare of a child. Both were jailed for lack of bail. Authorities in Lazarn County are searching for a Wilkes-Barre woman wanted for allegedly stabbing a man in the neck back in June of 2020. Police were called to a boathouse at Lakeside Drive in Harveys Lake last June 15th when the victim, Senora Parente, told them that 20-year-old Isabella Rosa Sobajano had stabbed him in the neck. Sobajano told police that Parente charged at her with a knife after she told him that she was pregnant. She said he allegedly was upset and wanted her to have an abortion and that she was just trying to defend herself. Sobajano was charged with aggravated assault following an investigation, and a warrant was issued for her arrest on Monday. Lazarn County Coroner's Office was ruled the death of an inmate as suicide. A 36-year-old male was found unresponsive at the Lazarn County Prison on the evening of March 22nd. Correction officers initiated life-saving measures until EMS arrived and transported the inmate to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. An autopsy was performed yesterday and confirmed that the manner of death was hanging, and the cause of death was ruled suicide. An Easton man was taken into custody Monday night in Carbon County. Lansford police caught up with fugitive Rodney Rivers at a home in the 300 block of East Birch Street. Several law enforcement agencies were called to the scene after a standoff ensued. Rivers, who was reported to be heavily armed and wanted on robbery and aggravated assault charges, was arrested without incident. A third Walmart COVID-19 vaccine clinic is planned for early next month at the Hanover Area High School. Appointments can be made through an online form created by the Hanover Area School District. As with the last clinic, the district wants to give preference to Luzerne County residents, and those living outside of the area are asked to not complete an appointment request form. The clinic will run from 7:30 a.m. until 12:45 p.m. on Monday, April 5th and Friday, April 9th. Individuals who receive an appointment are encouraged to keep them, and officials say that completing the online form doesn't guarantee an appointment. The clinic is open to individuals who are eligible to receive the vaccine under the state's Phase 1A plan. Pennsylvania is expected to receive $4.9 billion in federal relief funds to help pre-K through 12 schools to return students to classroom learning. The funding is provided by the American Rescue Plan Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, passed by Congress and signed by President Biden. At least 90% of the funds will flow to traditional public school districts and charter schools, and each will receive an amount proportional to the federal Title 1A funds received in 2020 under the Every Student Succeeds Act. The school districts and charter schools must use at least 20% of the funds to address learning loss and the social, emotional, and academic needs of underrepresented students. Schools can then use the rest of the funding for a wide range of other activities. Coming up on Wyln News, a new director of elections has been selected for Lazarn County. Plus, pet owners be on the lookout after multiple brands of pet food product have now been recalled. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Lazarn. I'm 5 years old, and it's gonna rain out. Bye.
The COVID-19 vaccine is here, and we have a lot of questions, especially about how the vaccine was developed. So let's ask the experts.
It typically takes 10 plus years to develop a vaccine. The COVID-19 vaccines, less than a year. How'd that happen?
It's a huge and historic feat, requiring global cooperation in a way we've never seen before.
It's important to understand essential steps weren't skipped.
Parts of the process were just done simultaneously.
By moving so quickly, did this compromise the vaccine's effectiveness? Is the vaccine safe?
Rest assured, the vaccine is safe. I've received it, and so have many of my colleagues.
It's the best way to protect yourself
And others from COVID-19.
Let's get rid of this virus and get back to normal life, once and for all.
To beat COVID, we all have to do our part. Visit PoconoMountains.com/COVID-19. It's safe, so sign up. Get in the queue.
Follow us on our weekly journeys through the backstories of those paving NEPA toward a better future.
Each night, we'll dig a little deeper into the lives and goals of our local leaders. So stay tuned for the end of our news as we learn more of those leading the way. Bob Morgan, former Deputy Chief of Staff to U.S. Representative Matt Cartwright, will be Lazarn County's new Director of Elections. According to County Manager David Pedri, prior to joining Cartwright's staff, Morgan worked in the financial sector, working for PNC Investments and Smith Barney. The county has not had a full-time election director since Shelby Wachilla resigned in December. The county advertised the job opening after Wachilla resigned, and a committee consisting of Pedri and other county officials interviewed 3 finalists for the position. However, those finalists dropped out, so Pedri re-advertised the position, and after approval from the county officials, he confirmed Morgan. Morgan will start work as head of the County Election Bureau on April 5th. A proposed bill is working its way through the state legislature that would create higher fines and more jail time for people who assault law enforcement with bodily fluids. Republican State Representative Lou Schmidt said criminals are beginning to use a different weapon of choice against law enforcement. His proposed bill would create a new criminal offense for anyone assaulting officers with bodily fluids, classifying it as a first-degree misdemeanor, which would carry up to 5 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. And even more is if the person assaults law enforcement and knows that they have an infectious disease, they could face up to 7 years in prison and up to a $15,000 fine. Under current law, penalties for doing this range from a year in prison and either a $25 to $1,000 fine. The bill has now made its way onto the Senate for consideration. Be mindful of your pet food, as Midwestern Pet Foods issued a voluntary recall of certain dog and cat foods shipped nationwide due to possible salmonella contamination. Brands that are part of the recall include Canine X, Earthborn Holistic, Venture, Unrefined, Sport Mix Wholesomes, Pro Pack Ultimates, Sports Trail, Sport Mix, and Meridian. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration said that salmonella can not only impact animals eating the food, but also the humans who handled the contaminated product. The FDA warns if someone's pet consumed the recalled product and has symptoms that they should contact a veterinarian, and said that the product should be destroyed so that children, pets, and wildlife cannot eat them. Harry Salavantis, locally known as the owner of the Majestic Lunch in Pittston and co-owner of a world-famous racehorse, has sadly passed away. Salavantis of Kingston Township died Friday from complications of COVID-19. He was among the Northeast Pennsylvania owners of the racehorse 'Tis the Law, which won the Belmont Stakes in 2020, one of the 3 Triple Crown races. He is also the father of former Lazarn County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis. He became notable after helping fund his daughter's campaign for district attorney in 2011. Harry Salavantis was 71 years old, and our condolences go out to the Salavantis family. Coming up on McAdoo's News Choice, we talk about gun safety on this Trooper Talk Tuesday. Plus, we continue with Lazarn County Manager David Pedri as he leads the way into part 2 of this week's segment. Stay with us.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton, everything to make your house a home.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
We all need a midweek pick-me-up, and WYLN TV 35 is your home for good news on Wednesdays. Catch our brand new special feature Wednesdays on WYLN News and post it on WYLN News Facebook page. Plus, all our good news stories will also be printed in the WYLN TV Pennies Classified Good News Bulletin, distributed throughout the community and digitally on our website. If you have good news to share, contact us to be featured in our special Good News edition. Good events, good people, good jobs, all good news.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
Folks, and welcome to our Trooper Talk Tuesday here on WYLN. I'm Philip Kaufman, and we're joined, as always, by State Trooper Anthony Petrosky. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, folks, today we're talking about gun safety. A lot of times, sometimes people aren't aware of gun safety, and we need to, readdress it every year, I think. And I think it's important to know that whether you're a hunter, whether you have a license, you need to know the proper safety, keeping it not only safe for yourself, but also for the loved ones around you. So why don't we start off, just tell us a little bit about the basics of gun safety.
Yes, so number one, you always want to handle a weapon as if it was loaded. You don't want to be reckless with the firearm, especially if maybe you find it, or you're in somebody's house and you see it. You don't know whether it's loaded or not. You don't know if there's a safety on the weapon, and if there is a safety, you don't know if it's on. So always handle it as if the weapon is loaded. Number two, don't ever point it at anybody. Again, for that same reason. Maybe you don't know if it's loaded or not. They're not toys. A lot of responsibility comes with a firearm, a lot. So sometimes people come across them on the side of the road. Maybe kids see them in a park, and it's important that we talk about this and let them know, don't touch it, tell an adult. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a police officer. A lot of times stolen guns, they may be used in something and then thrown from the scene. We need to know about that. So if you come across one, you need to call the police. Never put your finger on the trigger. You don't know if it has a long trigger pull or if it doesn't. Again, we have to be safe about this. So if you have kids in your house, guns should be locked up. If not, a gun lock should be on them. And what a gun lock does is it goes inside the barrel of the gun, and it cannot allow a round to go inside that barrel, and it will not fire a round. We have them in the Pennsylvania State Police. You could go to any state police barracks and ask for a free gun lock and also a gun safety card. And on the front of the card, it shows the information about gun safety, and on the back of it, it has a log where you can mark all of your weapons and your serial numbers, because a lot of times people report their weapons stolen. Maybe it was a burglar in their house, or it was in a cabin, they had the gun there, but they don't know the serial number. So it's good to have these things written down. But again, you never want to handle a gun if you don't know what you're doing. Always ask somebody about it. You know, it's important to know information about a gun, know what you're doing with it, but always treat it as if it's loaded, because it may be, especially if you're unfamiliar with it.
And in a situation where you have it in the house, safe places to keep it. You said about gun lock, but where are some places to make sure that it's okay and make sure that it's safe? Where probably out of reach.
Yes, definitely out of reach. I mean, anybody who has kids, if you set something down, they're going to go over and pick it up, especially if you tell them not to. So out of reach. And now some kids have replica guns that, unfortunately, they're pellet guns, but they look exactly like the real style gun, and it's hard to tell the difference. So they may think that it's their toy gun when really it's your real gun. So again, I know maybe you're running late or you just got home and you're trying to get in the house quick, you set it down. You can't do that. There's a lot of responsibility being a firearm owner. Keep it out of reach, keep it out of sight. Safes are great. Somewhere where it can be locked up, somewhere where it's not easily seen by kids or easily accessible to kids.
I think a lot of times, and recently we've been seeing more of people who have guns on them, and the situation kind of erupts into this mass craziness. And so can we talk a bit about, if somebody has a gun in their car, or they have they have the proper license and everything for it.
Yes.
What's the proper way to address that situation with an officer if they're pulled over, or if they're just in a situation where the officer, is there? What's the proper way to go about that?
Yes, that's a great point. Now, it is not a law that you are required to tell a state trooper if we pull you over that you have a gun. There's no law. But we really appreciate it because if you have a concealed carry permit and you have it on your hip or you have it in the glove box, and we say, if we pull you over, we're going to ask for your driver's license, registration, insurance card, and you reach over and then we see it on your hip or we see it in the glove box, now our senses are a little heightened because we're thinking, okay, there's a gun in the car, and guns, we don't know what type of person you are. So if you tell us, we appreciate that, And the best way to do it is if you have a gun on you, or it's on your hip, or it's in your glove box, and we pull you over, just keep your hands on the steering wheel, say, Trooper, I do have a weapon on me. It's on my hip, it's on my left hip, it's in the center console, it's in the glove box. We appreciate that. That's great. We'll look into that. We'll ask for your license to carry. We'll make sure that's good, and then we'll go about our business. But again, you are not required to tell us. It's not a law. It's not illegal if you don't. But we appreciate it because then if we see it, we may think there's something else going on here. So again, we do appreciate it.
Recognizing that there's a weapon in the area, it does, there is some level of threat. There is some level of hesitancy to protect yourself, because you never know what's going to happen in that situation.
When we come up to a traffic stop, we run the license plate. That tells us who owns the vehicle. That doesn't tell us who's in the vehicle at the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, just remember proper gun safety. Keep it out of distance from anybody who might grab it, like a child who would think it's a toy, or just doesn't understand proper gun safety. Make sure that you follow your proper gun safety. Don't point it at anyone. Always keep it on lock, and always keep. You can also check out PSP has gun locks if you need one and if you're looking for one. But aside from that, just be aware. These are very powerful weapons that are very dangerous to have, and require responsibility and safety. So, thank you for talking with us about this.
My pleasure.
And thank you folks for joining us here on Trooper Talk Tuesday on WYLN.
When emergency strikes, trust your care to the all-new ER at Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton. With a facility that's now twice the size. Experienced nurses who see you right away. A quick assessment process makes sure you get the care you need. Advanced technology on site. Safe, private treatment rooms, and a peace of mind that only this level of care can bring. When it matters most, trust your partner in emergency care. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
Hey folks, I want you to tune in this week to Let's Talk Chiropractic. My new handsome associate is Dr. Alex Paroli. He's a new guy, but he's a local man. So come watch the show and see how we're gonna dance together for the next couple of years.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Lazarn County Manager David Pedri is leading the way in part 2 of this week's series. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Leading the Way. We're joined this week by Lazarn County Manager David Pedri. So, what led you into politics from there? What led you into the position you're in now as Lazarn County Manager? I guess you moved back home, as we were just talking about. And what led to, David Pedri now?
Well, I was always involved in government, always interested in government. Growing up in my house, that was always a discussion at the dinner table. What was going on in the world? What's happening in the world? Different politics across the both local community and national stage. So I found myself always drawn to government. And I moved back to the area. I took a job as assistant district attorney, and I was a litigator, and I loved that job, and I did it for 7 years. I thought that I was going to be able to spend my career in the district attorney's office. I prosecuted all different types of cases, everything from, I started in summary appeals, the speeding tickets, but towards the end I have over 13 homicide convictions, rape cases. I was able to do a lot of different cases that I was able to prosecute, and I was very proud of my time there. When my time there was up, I went into private practice for a little bit here in Hazleton. But then I took an opportunity in May of 2013 to become the chief county solicitor in Luzerne County. And at this point, the entire form of government has changed for Luzerne County. We went from a 3-commissioner form of government to a home rule form of government with 11 county council members and a county manager. This was 2012, so it's brand new. I took the opportunity to become the first Luzerne County chief county solicitor because it was, how many lawyers get a chance to be the first lawyer to look over a new government? Yeah. It was It was at some points like the Wild Wild West. It really was, because we're trying to put things back together. We agreed to what? What do we do here? I mean, like I'm trying to do those things, but it became an opportunity to form this government and to figure out whose job did what, who's working over here. And I'm very proud of the success that we've had here in Luzerne County. I did that for about 2.5 years, and then my predecessor in the county manager job, Robert Lawton, left in 2015. I applied for the job. I applied as the interim, and it's been 5 years now that I've been the Luzerne County manager in that role.
And you've been happy with this decision?
Yeah, definitely. It's been in my 5 years as county manager. I look back and I missed the courtroom. I missed the courtroom as a litigator, as an attorney. But I truly see, and I don't want to sound cheesy, but I truly see the ability to effectuate change here in my home in this role. And that's the best thing about this government. This government has the opportunity to say, hey, listen, county council sets a budget, the county manager sets a path, and we move forward on that path, and then we can fix things and change things. In my 5 years as county manager, we've righted our financial ships. We started some major initiatives, fixing the Luzerne County Courthouse, fixing the 911 system. All these different things that we've been able to put into place, it's been one step at a time. And it's been a quick and, like I said, potentially long and youth-stealing 5 years.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or at WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.